Excited consumer shows appreciation to power company staff for constant power supply. Despite numerous warnings, Yanga wakes trouble from sleep again. PDP Southwest Zone reacts to election of Oche Secondus as national chairman of the party. And now, it's the other news.
And here's your host, Okay Bakassi.
Yeah. Hello, and welcome to another exciting show. It's the other news, the show that takes the ordinary meat that is the news, seasons it real good, grills it, and serves it to you as sizzling suya. My guest tonight is a writer, lawyer, journalist, PR expert, and media entrepreneur. Chude Jideonwo in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. All right. Also on the show tonight, Daniel D Humorous covers some of the happenings at the National Assembly. But first is the other news headlines. Senate President Bukola Saraki has said you should stop blaming the government for the high unemployment. He's right. We should blame ourselves for voting them in. Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha says 89% of Nigerians are not happy under Buhari. President Buhari replied by asking, what percentage of people in Imo State are happy under your Statutes and Happiness Commissioner? Nigeria has imported 116.3 billion naira worth of palm oil. Palm oil, yes. From petrol to palm oil. Next, we'll be importing kuli-kuli and zobo. Now to the other matters. There are some things you'll never hear mentioned in Nigeria, like fish scarcity in Makoko, bole scarcity in Port Harcourt, or traffic scarcity in Lagos. No, it's impossible. It cannot happen. If it happens, that will be horror film. Aside from Hamatan selfies that look like this, one thing Nigerians are used to hearing about on a yearly basis is this situation.
Long queues are gradually returning to many filling stations due to non-availability of petrol. And this is coming more than 1 year after the country experienced the nationwide scarcity of petrol during the festive period.
I had to buy what's called black market at the rate of 250 naira just to be able to drive my car back.
It's just absolute distress putting us through this. It's not. And for a country that produces fuel, is ridiculous. The
downfall buses. So I use the jerry can simplicity to just illustrate how terrible this whole queue is.
Nigeria is Africa's #2 highest producer of crude and highest producer of petrol queues in the world. Nigeria's able Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, was nice enough to explain the situation.
There was obviously some level of gap in terms of volume. And that gap arises from the fact that NNPC is the only one who is importing a product currently. Okay,
yes, blame it on importation, yes. It's the season for fuel scarcity when we start to see things like this.
Why do you dabble to this business? It's a mistake. Mistake make you dabble to business. Your name. Innocent.
His name is Innocent. Yes, innocent illegal marketers of the petroleum product supplying fuel generously. Meanwhile, the Department for Petroleum Resources has had to step in to say, caution, to the not so innocent legal marketers of the product. I'm sure very soon they will promise to reward people that blow the whistle on these non-compliant marketers. Just that the reward will probably be them giving excuses about how too much petrol will make the whistleblower crazy. The legal marketers are pointing fingers back at the NNPC.
If NNPC push the product to our depot. I'm assuring you within 2-3 days, the queue will disappear. I'm promising you tomorrow by next tomorrow, the queue will disappear.
The queue will disappear like abracadabra. Well, unlike this guy, they must be magicians. Nigeria's major dependence on imported petroleum products 50 years after the discovery of commercial quantities of oil on Nigerian soil has made Nigeria, look like that woman who supplies raw food products to the fast food restaurants, then goes back to the restaurants to buy cooked food because she won't fix the cooker in the house. Luckily for us, we have this guy. And, awards are to Nigerian politicians what the spider is to Spider-Man. So, Super Baru to the rescue. On a positive note, we should be grateful that the government has been gracious enough to subsidize the rates. But then again, should we really be grateful for something that would not even matter if our refineries were fine? The government has been promising.
Our aim is to ensure that in a few weeks' time, all our refineries will be working at at least 70%.
As I speak, Nigeria has not entered that promised refinery. Meanwhile, Uncommon Dangote is about to get his refinery up and running. This is like the government having 3 luxury buses, but instead of using the buses to transport people, they wait for a Dangote, a government contractor, to build a small car that they will now use to transport people. Anyway, to be fair to the Nigerian government, it is possible that Nigerians are sleeping and cannot see the effect of these promised refineries. I'm not sleeping. We are not sleeping. For now, I just wish you a happy fuel scarcity. Or as my Yoruba people will put it, a good fuel scarcity, yo. I hope they solve it soon. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight has made books and changed countries. Please welcome Chude Jideonwo. Round of applause.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Recently you took to Twitter to, comment on people's reaction to your involvement in the 2015 election.
Good times.
Yes. So please put us through, what was your level of involvement in that election?
Well, my company, co-founded with Deborah Williams, was the communication agency for the 2015 elections under the APC. Yes. So we helped with 360-degree media communication, PR advertising online for the candidate and for the candidacy. Yes.
Yeah. So why are Nigerians on your case?
Well, we can see now, as far as scarcity.
Just simply put, too many things are promised and no promises met
yes,
yet.
not a lot of promises met. So it's legitimate anger.
Yeah.
It's legitimate anger.
Good one coming from you. Recently as well, you've been very vocal about youth and youth involvement in politics. So what measures are you taking to make sure that youths not only make noise, but, they walk the walk that is required to make their impact felt in Nigerian politics?
Well, a number of things. Our organization is keenly involved with the Not Too Young to Run movement. And so working especially with media. So we've been helping over the past few months. So that's a key way. But personally, I think that my most important role is advocacy, is to force young people to confront kind of the challenges and limitations of this. And I often say that young people haven't shown that we should be taken seriously when it comes to elections and politics. We've not been able to build movements that people should respect and want to get involved in.
So how do we build that? It sounds good. How do we build that?
So first we need candidates. We need candidates. The way I look at it,
young candidates.
Yes, candidates who understand. It's like building a business. It is not exactly building a business, but it's like building a business. You have a candidate with a vision. Then that candidate is able to either build the structure or find people that can help that candidate build the structure. And when you build that structure, then you get buy-in from the public. Now, of course, in between structure and buying, you need resources.
That's the cocoa. Well, hold it there. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll talk some more. Yeah, still to come on the other news. We continue our conversation with Chude Jideonwo. And later, a special report by our special correspondent. Okay, we'll be back. Welcome back. In case you've been lost in the last few minutes, it's still the other news. Okay. All right. Alongside your partner, Deborah Williams, you've created a media and public relations brand that is known around Africa, notably in Kenya, where you recently worked with Raila Odinga. All right. Share some of the experiences with us.
When I want to annoy Nigerians in diaspora, I say, you just really confirm that Africa is a country, really, or at least Sub-Saharan Africa is a country. Because we found out that the same issues are the same. I mean, the issues are the same in all these countries. Not surprisingly, the demographics, young people constitute more than 50% of the population. Unemployment is in the double digits. You know, many of these countries haven't had competitive democracies in decades. Poverty is increasing. You know, corruption is a major issue in Nigeria and Ghana and Kenya. So we came into this.
Also have all that in common.
So we had, you know, we are family. We are family. Unfortunately. Yeah. When it comes to that. And the anger that young people have is the same in many of these countries.
On a lighter note this time.
That makes me scared.
Part of the role you played in 2015 was to dress up, you know, the then candidate Buhari in iconic outfits like the Agbada, the Igbo Ishiago, and suit. What was it like getting Mr. President to get into a suit and tie? It was refreshingly different to see.
Yeah, it was. That was exciting.
All pimped up.
All pimped up. You know, Debola was the one. Okay. You know, up until that time, I hadn't even met the candidate. Debola was doing that. But it's between Adebola, Kelechi Amadiobi, and Uche Naji of Ouch. They found a way to convince him that if he wanted to get a different result, he had to do something different. Wow. And I think that, hearing from Debola especially, I think that Debola was very surprised as to the Buhari he met. And it's even a real issue now, which is something he hasn't managed to sustain. The Buhari that people meet personally, even up until now, has such a sense of humor and a persona that's compelling and a simplicity that shocks you. Yeah. Because you think to yourself, well, how come the country is such a mess? You know?
Same thing was said about Jonathan. If you meet Jonathan in person, so is it that Aso Rock is the problem?
I think Aso Rock is a problem.
Yeah, when you get into
there's a demon spirit.
Yeah, that those demons that Ruben Abati talked about,
the Bible says,
just come out.
The Bible says the enemies of a man are of his own household. I think that in Aso Rock, that is a literal problem.
You have a point there.
So I think something changes them when they get in there. And I think that they are unprepared for what they will find when they get there. I think the only person...
I think that's true.
They're fundamentally unprepared. Because, I mean, anything can shake you, that's life. But are you prepared to be shocked?
If I decide to run, how do you make me win?
I mean, compared to the APC youth chairman, who is 60 years, I think you are very young. I think that there are two things. One is was out of my power in these elections. The other was in my power. The first thing is to ask yourself, what are citizens hungry for? Yeah. Obviously, we know that in 2015, citizens were hungry for change. Okay. Of course, people say now they are hungry to change the change. But that was the question. Citizens were like, who is going to change this system? And we managed to help communicate that Buhari was the candidate to do that. On the other hand, though, apart from the message, it's also important to build the machinery. And that I didn't have any part to do with that. That was Amechi, Tinubu, Atiku, in those happy times of the APC. And so it's really... with any candidate is, do you have a message that would be popular, that would inspire people to choose you?
So the first thing I need to get right is my message.
It's your message. The right candidate with the right message.
The next thing will be my structure.
Your structure, of which resources is important. And financial resources are important. And people often say, oh, politics is too expensive. Well, it is supposed to be expensive.
Now, you know, you keep saying resources.
Yes.
But, you know, that takes me to your book. Now, in your book, somewhere in this book, you said money is not enough.
Yes.
And you keep hammering on resources.
Yes.
Please help me reconcile this.
It's the typical law of diminishing returns. Yeah. Money is important up until a particular level.
Okay.
We can see it in PDP with Jonathan.
So, money is required. Anyways.
Money is required. Money is required, but
it's not enough.
It is not enough.
Okay.
And too much of it is a bad thing.
Really?
Yes. When it becomes too much, you begin to see news stories like we saw of Jonathan campaign chairman fighting over money.
I think the problem will now be to know when the money is enough.
Exactly.
And when it's too much. Who determines?
The campaign managers are the ones who determine that, or the campaign chairmen, so to speak. They have to be responsible.
And in some cases, when they are very fraudulent, the line becomes blurry.
Exactly. Especially if there are people who need money. Yeah. You cannot put a campaign chairman who needs money. Or in Nigeria, because Nigeria is a world case. People that don't need money are still desperate for money. So, you know, you have to get...
Just money is everything.
You know, here.
Just everything. Yeah.
You have to get campaign chairmen who have what I call bellefulness.
Unfortunately, there's no campaign manager in Nigeria we don't belleful. Unfortunately. So unless you are going to import that campaign manager.
Maybe.
It's nice talking to
you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been so wonderful talking to you today here. All right, I will continue on the program shortly. Once upon a time, the People's Democratic Party dominated the political scene to the extent that one of its former chairmen boasted that the party would rule Nigeria for 60 years. Well, that prophecy did not come to pass. Ogachiamo, this thing now turn by turn now, democracy no be ancestral too. So, the 2015 elections came, and the PDP has been struggling to find its feet and voice after losing power at the center. There has been a battle for the soul of the party. Last weekend, desperate to get on sound footing in preparation of 2019 elections, the PDP held a convention so that a new chairman and national executive will be elected by PDP delegates and big wigs. No, not that kind of big wig. The Southwest zone of the PDP claimed that it deserved to produce the next PDP national chairman because the position had been micro-zoned to the Southwest. But some other members of the party disagreed.
If you had a president that you couldn't win the Southwest, is it when you have the chairman of the party that you win the Southwest? That argument is not sustainable.
On the eve of the election, there were 7 aspirants to the position, including 2 professors and a former naval officer, and of course, a popular broadcaster. By the morning of the convention, the naval officer had waved a white flag of surrender and beaten a retreat.
I hereby withdraw this from this brazen fraud, an absolutely preconceived, monetized, mercantilist convention.
And one of the professors had decided he was not quite ready for this test. Only 3 candidates were left: Chief Uche Secondus, High Chief Raymond Dokpesi, and Chief Professor Adedoja. By the time the voting was concluded, the ordinary Chief Secondus had scored higher than High Chief Dokpesi and Chief Professor Adedoja. Well, Professor Adedoja did not even record a single vote. Prof. Shebi, you can now understand why sometimes students know they fit write anything for their own exam paper. Anyway, as expected, not everyone was happy with the result of the election. In fact, Chief Dokpesi and Professor Adedoja have complained that there were irregularities in the voting process. So the PDP has a new chairman now, and he has this message for President Buhari.
The brief tenancy of the All Progressive Congress APC in Aso Rock Villa expires on May 28, 2019. By this, we serve them quick notice.
Yes, the PDP is acting as if Aso Rock is their birthright. The APC promptly responded that the PDP is a leopard that can't change its spots and that corruption is rooted in the PDP's DNA. That's interesting. The PDP promptly clamped back and told APC to go organize their own convention. They accused the APC of clutching at straws. Again, this is another strange allegation because if you look at the APC logo, there's an arm clutching a broom. And a broom is literally a collection of what Oyibo people call straws. So, clutching at straws is what the APC is literally about, judging by their own logo. So try again, PDP. That one will be insults. But back to the leading opposition party. Has the PDP reformed itself sufficiently to regain the trust of the Nigerian public? The new PDP national chairman is the party's former acting national chairman. Its main presidential contender for now is a former vice president in the PDP government. So with old players at the forefront, can the PDP offer a new vision and a new roadmap to lifting Nigeria out of decades of corruption? Can the party truly deliver power to the people and transform itself into a credible alternative to the ruling party? Only time will tell. Welcome back. Welcome. We are still here mixing the news with fun for jollification purposes. Yeah. The National Assembly is home to representatives who we sent there to do the will of the people. Daniel D Humorous has been paying keen attention to the legislative branch. He brings us this report. Over to you, Dan.
October 17 has been marked out to observe the World Poverty Alleviation Day. And on that day in 2017, Nigeria's highest paid professionals, yeah, the ones you call Bookie House of Commotion, aka the boys in the red chambers, the Nigerian senators that is, also had to put in a word or two on this subject. And of course, had a lot, or quite a few, to say about the body whose duty it is to fight poverty.
Overseeing an agency called NAPEP, which is National Agency for Poverty
So, the NAPEP has been so ineffective that even the senator whose work it is to perform oversight function has forgotten the name of the organization. Anyway, Senator Gemade, it is National Irrigation. Even myself, I don't forget her. But of course, the senators were not even done with the beautiful things they had to say about NAPEP.
It is sad to mention here that after over 11 years of the establishment of the National Poverty Eradication Program, NAPEP, the program is yet to effectively impact on the lives of average Nigerians.
Objection, my lord. I know one person that NAPEP has really helped. Ogu, of course, NAPEP, that's Stanley Lord Norom. NAPEP has also helped him. And then after that came the flurry of very beautiful, sound, and intelligent ideas from the senators.
Through taxation, ensuring that the rich will pay more.
Thank you, my deputy. No problem. Can you also add that the rich should no longer marry the rich? Let us have senators' daughters marrying gateman's son. Let us have plantain seller daughters or son marrying minister and ambassador daughter. That way, there can be a marriage economic balance, all in a bid to fight poverty. And with all these beautiful ideas came the big one.
This bill seeks to establish a National Poverty Eradication Commission.
The best way to fight poverty in Nigeria is to open a commission. Clap for our senators. Oh! And if you think that they are playing, this commission is going to create jobs. Jobs like...
The commission is made up of 5 directorates to be headed by a Director General under the supervision of the chairman, and the 6 other members, one representing each of the 6 geopolitical zones.
Exactly. So that means with this commission, you can sing Christmas carol with it. 5 directors, 4 AGM, 3 ED, 1 DG, 1 chairman, and a Petri, Gina Petri. I don't understand. So So what they are saying now is they will have this commission, these directors and co. They will have deputies. Then these deputies, they will now have PAs, have SA, have SSA, have SA to the SSA, have PA to the SA to the PA to the SA to the SSA. Then upon that, they will now have House Committee and Senate Committee on this commission. That will be a juicy committee that only ruling party members will join. Then after that, all the policemen that are supposed to be in checkpoint will now be doing bodyguard for some of these people in the commission. But the one that is giving me problem is even the effectiveness of this organization. Have you think about it? All the people they call commission, have they been working well? Since the senators want to use this one to fight poverty, no problem, we will join them. But I just want to help and beg and add to them. All the people have commission, they know they work any work. Try using agency. You see people like NAFDAC, NIMASA, then they try. Try using, authority. When you see FAN, Federal Airport Authority, our airports are trying. When you see Nigerian Port Authority, the ports are trying. So please, let us call this body the National Poverty Alleviation Authority, NPAA or NPA Square, so that we can now have authority over poverty. Since we want to do the work, make they do the work they go.
Maybe I should look into creating a committee, an authority for studying the anger levels of Daniel the Humorous. Anyway, that has been our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Follow us. Please follow us at the Other News CTV on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Our people say there is no need to ruin an apology with an excuse. My name is OK. Keep your head up. Thank you.